I want to in particular recognize Secretary Mayorkas. The time that we spent with the dedicated men and women of CBP really has reinforced the work that Secretary Mayorkas has done. We're not exactly where we want to be yet, but we have seen extreme progress over these last few months because of his dedication and his efforts.
My, how time flies. That was the vice president 1 year ago on her first and only trip to the southern border. Since then, the migrant crisis has continued to spiral. Customs and Border Protection reporting another record number of encounters last month, and our border czar still nowhere to be found at the border. Let's bring in former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz. He is also a Fox News contributor. Jason, always great to see you. I want to put these numbers up on the screen because it's important. This is in May. Those who were granted parole, you see 51,132. That's up 28% since April. The Associated Press had this headline, quoting here, paroled migrants say they were not screened for asylum or even asked why they came to the U.S. They receive a stapled packet with a blue stamp that stays when parole expires. And when it expires, Jason, off they go.
Yeah, nothing happens, Trace. I mean, they're not checked for COVID, nothing that's going along here. It is absolutely stunning that the President of the United States, since he started working in the Senate in the 1970s, has never been to our southern border. And Kamala Harris, that clip you showed is about a year old. You have Secretary Mayorkas saying that he has operational control of the border. Yet the numbers are absolutely record highs. We've never seen numbers this high of people coming across the border since they started counting people coming across the border. So there is no control, no desire. They offer a magnet, and they literally are streaming across the border by the hundreds of thousands.
You talk about the record number of migrants encountered in May. Let's put that on the screen, 239,000 plus. That, again, is a record. And, you know, the truth is nobody knows the exact number because you figure in, Jason, the gotaways and the others. But you have analysts and you have the border agents that we talk to, and they say, you know, the number is very close to, since Joe Biden took office, 2 million migrants entering this country. That's bigger than a lot of states' populations.
Yeah, that 239,000 is 1 month. And these poor Border Patrol agents, the ICE officers, the people that have to deal with this, we treat these people coming across the border better than we do Americans. They're given all sorts of benefits. They give free reign. They can come and they can work in the United States of America. And don't tell me that that doesn't also contribute to the crunch on housing and food and inflation, because they need a place to sleep and a place to eat, and they want to get jobs and everything else. And so it's just absolutely untenable. And what the administration is saying about it, what they're doing about it, is nothing. They are literally doing nothing, Trace, to secure that border. That's not Jason Chaffetz saying that. That's the Border Patrol saying that.
What are the consequences? I mean, what, come back to the Vice President Kamala Harris. She hasn't been down there in a year, and apparently nobody has said anything about it. Where's the pressure?
There isn't. I mean, you hear some Republican lawmakers talking about this. You hear the people in Texas and these border states talking about this. But I hope people understand and realize the devastation, the human toll, the drug trafficking, the human trafficking, the number of women that are raped. They are complicit in human trafficking, and yet there is no outrage in this country in mass about this mass. It's not just a migration. They're wrapping people and they're pulling people and they're encouraging them to come to the United States.
And I've got about 20 seconds left here, and I want to get this in because when the vice president, when President Biden was vice president, the New York Post says that Hunter Biden met with 4 oligarchs closely allied with Vladimir Putin, and others say, look, there's only one reason you meet, and that's influence. Your final thoughts, Jason?
Not only do you have that going on in Russia, but he's meeting with Chinese intelligence officers, Romanian thugs that have been convicted, people in Mexico. It's a worldwide phenomenon. The Biden crime family connections are absolutely stunning and still continue to be exposed to this day.
Yeah. Jason, great to have you on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson tonight.